Okay guys, this Eurovan has a ignition switch that was stuck in the on position. So basically the dash lights were always on. Vehicle wouldn't shut off when pulling the key out. That could be one of two things. It could be the ignition switch itself. Internally the pieces are broken and stuck, or it could be the lock cylinder not returning, or something in here broken. So first thing I did was disconnect the harness plug, and then I bridged in order to drive the vehicle, because I couldn't crank it. So I bridged the red to the black, which is my ignition, and then I momentarily bridged the red with the red and black, and then I got starter activation and I drove it in. Then I removed the switch here, which I'll link a video in the description. It's fairly straightforward, just a Phillips screw. You need a tiny screwdriver. This is a homemade one here, sort of homemade. And then I pulled the ignition switch out. Once the ignition switch is out, I was able to turn it with a screwdriver, and you can see the ignition is off right now. Ignition is on, and the vehicle starts. So I know that the ignition switch is okay. It does look a little old. It may still be a good idea to change it. Sometimes you can tell by the blackness around the housing here. When they're really black, it means a lot of arcing going on in there. So anyways, the problem is not with the ignition switch at this point. The problem is with this guy here. When you turn the key, most likely internally the assembly is broken. So I don't know if you can see that. I'll zoom in, but there's a little key that fits into here, or a little piece of metal, and when I turn the key I'm expecting it to not move. Okay, it just comes out a little bit, but it's not actually rotating. Hopefully this will come up in camera or on camera. So what we have to do is we have to take this key cylinder out and replace either the broken piece or get a complete key cylinder. This can be done with the lock housing in place. You just need to find the correct place to drill the housing. But for intents and purposes and easier demonstration, I'm going to take this lock assembly out, and I don't know if I have a video of that, so I might just record it just in case. I'm also using my wrong headlamp. I think this one might be too bright, so hopefully the camera will not have too big of an issue. The horn button just pulls off. Disconnect the electrical. Any springs that drop, just keep track of them. There it is. 1, 2, 3, 4 springs. 24 millimeter. Don't have to worry about position of the steering wheel. You can adjust that later. I usually adjust it while driving. I know, not very safe, but still. And disconnect the connectors. You pry up on one end and release the clip on the other, and then you can slide the connector out. Two on this side. And two on this side. Okay, there's a lock washer or a jam washer that needs to be taken off. They can be reused, sometimes though they break. And like I said, you could drill from here, but you get shavings everywhere, and that can be an issue. The automatic steering lock or shifter lock cable just pops off. And then there's this plastic piece that you have to get out. You just carefully pry it out, top and bottom. And when you put it back together, just squeeze the two halves a little bit. But anyways, let's take this washer off. I put the nut back here because of the spring, and then I use channel lock pliers to wiggle this washer up. And then you just grab the washer and you kind of work it up, back and forth, up and down. As you can see, it's a bit of a pain in the ass. And there's actually two of these clips. There's a breakaway bolt here. So meaning the head, when you tighten it down, when you torque it down, the head breaks off. So this one you just use a chisel to break it free. Once it starts to rotate, you can use your fingers. Okay, now as long as the steering lock retracts because the key is still operational, you should be able to just pull this off. And the cable here, like I said, comes off too. So now that this is off, you can see, well, actually it might even fall out now. But it's all loose in here. Sometimes they fall right out. Anyways, now we need to mark the housing, and then we drill a small hole so that we can release the key cylinder, remove the cylinder, put in a new one. Steering lock housing number 10, doesn't say anything. Here, they're actually using a press here to press it off and on. There's a certain distance that you want for the spring compression and overall compression, or length of shaft. So keep that in mind. I'm pretty sure it's 10 millimeters and 12. It's usually around in this area. It's got an old lock housing here, and you see there's a hole here. So just off of this edge to the right, and you can sort of see that where this key is in the off position, the alignment here. This is the piece that you push on. So it's just over in this area. So you can see there's 10 millimeters and 10, 12. So that's what I'm going to do here. 10 over, 10 down. So we'll start at 2 centimeters. We'll go 10 over, which is 3. Roughly 10 down. down here. Roughly there. Probably went down too far. You can see how this could make a mess inside the car. Okay, and then if you hit it just right, it should come out, but you need a little pick. So you just push down on the release clip and then pull the lock cylinder out. And you can see it's broken off. There you go. So if you have a used end piece, you can take the little pin punch and punch the roll pin out, and then remove this and install another one. So I could, if this is the same one, I just could use this, but that looks different. This is wider than it is here. So we're just going to install a new lock cylinder with a new key. You just pop this back into place, it locks into place. This is the spring-loaded clip here that holds it in place. Assembly is in reverse of removal.